Yeah, there's a good one. Hey, the biggest difference between the pros you watch on TV or really good golfers and the average golfer, like maybe you who's watching this video just trying to get better, biggest differences that you'll see is the way that the good player will start their downswing. It sets up such a beautiful chain reaction that almost can't be stopped. You get the downswing started wrong, can't redirect it after that. It's too quick. It's like catching a bullet out of a gun. But when you can get the bullet on target, or you can get the downswing started correctly for power, for accuracy, almost no telling how good you can get. So right after this, let's take a little more look in detail. One of the details that starts the pro's downswing that I think you can emulate. Stay tuned. Hey, this is Steve with HitItLonger.com. Thank you so much for getting me over the 100,000 subscriber barrier. I hope in this video, again, you'll get enough value to like and subscribe. Now, the average golfer out there tends to use their body less and their arms more than the good player. And so some of the things you'll see is you'll see the cast or the throwaway leading to a scoopy impact position. You'll see the chicken wing. You'll also see the club tending to be more steep and from the outside. So a lot of the problems that us average golf folk have can start right from the top of the swing in the very first little move. Now, using this elastic band that I have built, put a golf grip at the end of it, I can show you or illustrate a little bit better on what the difference is between the good golfer you see on TV and the average golfer that you might beat. And that's this. Let's say that you've both gotten a pretty good top of the backswing position. You're nice and wound up. You're reasonably on plane. Guys look fairly similar there. Now, what the really good golfer will feel compared to the average golfer, it's a different feel, different action. They'll feel like their arm, their left arm especially, is staying relaxed. It's not trying to pull, but instead the hands will feel like they kind of get left behind at the top. This is a kind of a universal description that a lot of golfers use the first time they do it right. They feel like they leave their hands up here behind them as they start to swing down like this. And what happens there is that very first movement sets the tone for the pivot and the turn of the torso to advance the arms into the ball with a free ride from the turn of the body, where it almost feels, I know this is not true for some of you out there who always call me on stuff. Remember, feel versus real. It feels like the arms are not trying to advance on their own at all, but completely get carried through impact by the turn of the body. So that first move, notice that I've got a lot of stretch here in the shoulder and the upper back. That it feels like it deepens. Like that. It feels like it deepens as the first move, where a lot of people out there, you're starting it with a throwing away of the angle and the pulling down of the arm instead. Well, the body stays relatively still, not shifting and rotating. And so you would immediately lose the stretch here in the upper back. Now, from the opposite angle, we can look at how this continues. The first move, again, the feeling of the hands staying at the top while the pivot is being made, and that dependently advancing the arms. Very small delay in the uncocking of the wrists as well. It's not that you uncock the wrist down here, it's that you still uncock them up here, but in the meantime, your shift in your turn has slightly preceded or originated the motion for a split second, hundredths of a second. Then you start to uncock the wrist. Now that feeling can be much bigger in our minds when we're not doing it right. 500ths of a second can feel like a lot longer. Now let's look at deeper into the downswing. How the result of this will look something like this now. Now what I'm feeling, again, that feel is that my arms have been left behind. My hands have been left behind, and I'm stretching a bungee cord between the handle of this club and my belly button. Okay, so it feels a big time stretch here, all the way down the left upper back into the shoulder and the arm. I stretch that as I draw the club back. Then, as I change directions and start my downswing, that stretch up here gets enhanced to its greatest, and I'm carrying it through. That stretch gets carried all the way through to here. You can see, gives me what Mike Austin used to call the figure 7 position between the shoulders and the left arm, forms the number 7. This is a very powerful position right here. And if I can keep it stretched until here, which is the feeling of the arms again getting carried, watch this. I'm leaving my arms, the resistance is helping me to give the feel of leaving my arms behind. As I rotate open, of course, it's not really happening, but it's a good feeling to have, just like that. And then the springing loose of those muscles from stretch into contraction right through the ball will really send that club moving really fast and around the correct arc. But you can see how much my pivot and the turn of my chest have to get involved. I showed you this last week. Of course, you can get a hell of a lot more open with just your right hand on there, so you might try the feeling. Again, I've just got this attached to the pole. Pivot and turn, leaving my arm back, feeling a stretch here in my upper chest anterior shoulder, turning and facing the target. Yeah, the left hand can't reach. Of course we can't get this so far open with 2 hands on the club. That's why this is a drill. This is an exercise that gives you a feel. I'm keying in on this stretch. Then when I add the left hand back on again, I'm really keying in on this stretch here. So the more that you can relax the arms and let these 2 areas stretch so that the arms are trailing more, the belly button and the chest, the longer and straighter you're going to hit the ball. So it's not a cast from the top, absence of body motion. It's not a pulling of the handle down into the ball, and it's certainly not a pulling downwards of the handle behind you, but instead it's allowing the natural pivot to bring the arms around the corner, like some people will say, a free ride. Relax the arms more, relax the grip pressure more, especially in the left arm. Allow the stretch in the proper muscles of the body to be felt as you start down, and increase, till finally about here, boom, the bowstring is let go and everything explodes through the ball. So again, the feeling over the ball is, once I've made a good wind-up, is to initiate with this pivot move here. Just like that, allowing the torso to swing open, while the feeling is that once I've stretched the bungee from my belly button into this end of the stick, it's stretching now. And what I want to feel is the stretch gets even bigger as I come down for a split second, then boom, the stretch is let go into a contraction, and I pick up speed right through the impact zone. One of my students uses the word be patient. So he doesn't hit first, but he waits that split second for his body to move into position before he really explodes. And that's what some of you out there might feel too. Let's see if I can stretch the bungee as I start down, starting with the big muscles of the torso and the hips and the butt. And one more. Stretch the bungee, be patient, leave the hands at the top, start down with this step, down into the left heel, and the initiation of body rotation early like this, while you leave your hands back at the top. Just like that. And hopefully you won't be able to do this trying to hit your hardest at first. That's the trap. Can't do it like that. What will happen then is you'll pull it harder, you'll throw it harder, all the usual stuff that you've trained yourself to get your highest club head speed. But what you'll do is you'll start fairly easy. First, get a stretch like I did. Get a little stretchy cord, order one from my website, and feel, what does it feel to have my left arm being driven into the ball? Not pulling into the ball, not trying to pull downwards, but have this carry the left arm around the circle into the ball free. I think when you can do that a little bit more, you're going to really hit the hell out of it, and you'll be surprised how straight it goes too. Hey, if you have any questions about this notion or these set of feels, please leave a comment down below. I'm Steve. Thanks again so much for supporting my channel for all these years. If I don't see you in the next video, I hope I see you longer and straighter down the fairway. Everybody take good care.